Hi, my name is Maya Kabat.
And I'm Antonio Vigil.
And we're at the Mercury 20 Gallery in downtown Oakland. We're a collective artist-run gallery. We have 20 artists here. The gallery was started about a year ago, and we have 2 artists in the front gallery showing, with the 18 artists in the back space, represented by 1 piece or 2 pieces each. This month we have a show by the 2 of us called Invisible Cities, and we work within urban landscape themes.
Obviously I work in landscapes. I'm trying to explore the way that that space or the landscape that we live in helps us form an identity, and how we also kind of project our identity or our feelings onto the landscape. I think the sort of obvious metaphor here that you see in the show are bridges and freeways. It's sort of like a conduit for, like, you know, physical travel and also like cultural travel. I'm interested in the idea of like migration, immigration, cultural exchange, stuff like that. So these are sort of a way to get me looking in that direction, and hopefully other people to think about such things. This piece in particular has a little more of a concrete story behind it. It's a memorial piece dedicated to people that were killed by law enforcement in LA. And it is a personal piece to me because I have had to deal with some not so good law enforcement around here. So after personal experience, I just wanted to sort of react to that and turn it into something positive.
My work are oil paints. I use large drywall tools that are pretty big, some are smaller. I'm working with sort of experiences in my daily life, my surroundings, and sort of processing the comings and goings of nature and the built environment around me, and processing that in some way in my work. I'm really interested in how everything really is organic, even if you're in a built environment. The angles aren't quite perfect, things decay, natural disaster comes and shake things up. And so I'm interested in that process of dealing with what seems sort of like comfortable, safe environment, but actually is a little uncertain. Especially living in the Bay Area, there's always that feeling that at any moment things could shift. And I think that's a metaphor for our human condition. It's been really interesting to me to look at both of our work hanging in the gallery. They're so different because mine are these sort of active, colorful, structural paintings, whereas his are so delicate and subtle, and at the same time so powerful. And so I think that in and of itself is a really interesting juxtaposition of just how 2 people can be painting with similar ideas of looking at a city. What makes a city? Is it the people? Is it the things that happen there? Or is it just the objects themselves that sit in space? And how powerful really the city and the cityscape is as a metaphor and as a backdrop or as an experience.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Johansson, and this is my gallery here in Oakland called Johannson Projects. I'm here with Renny Pritikin, and he has curated this group exhibition for this month, and I opened this space back in May to do curated exhibitions. Initially, I thought it would be some trouble with all the quirkiness in the spaces, but actually it allows the viewers to wander through and have a lot of little surprises in the little rooms, and I've had some fun with it. Just getting started still.
I'm the director of the Nelson Gallery, which is the museum for UC Davis. Being in Davis and getting familiar with the Sacramento and Davis area, it occurred to me that this would be a great opportunity to do kind of a missionary project, and neither here nor there, meaning they may live in Davis and Sacramento, but that doesn't mean they're out of touch with what's happening here. It's also like a little backwards play on Gertrude Stein, with Oakland being no there, right? Nathan Cordero, who carves in found wood and scavenged wood, often paints a veneer and then carves away, so you get a figure ground, negative, positive kind of image. It's a wonderful form that looks tough and rough, but is really, if you read the content, it's very gentle. And that's true of Nathan too. He's a guy who works for a living, is a self-taught artist, and is a real sweetheart. By contrast, Lisa Prettel is someone who got her MA at UC Davis and is a very sophisticated, knowledgeable artist, although her roots are also kind of not the usual art world path. She's the first in her family to go to college. She put herself through college and graduate school and is now working very hard to make it as an artist and teacher. Most of the titles of Lisa Prettel's work refer to rings. They're abstracted rings. I think it would be a mistake to overemphasize that, but certainly it can add a layer of meaning to the work. And that's one of the things visual art can do that no other form can do, is she can work with materials that contradict the title. So there's right off the bat, a conundrum, a question being asked that dares or challenges the viewer, which is just one of the things I love. Ross Khalsa is a young artist who has a BA from UC Berkeley. He's kind of the flip side of Lisa Prettel, in that if she's exploring the girly side of things, he's definitely exploring the boy side of things. He's obsessed with semi-trailers and trucks and does portraits of them. The trucks are not realistically portrayed. They're more like dream trucks. Cabs of the trucks almost become masks. You see that they're really anthropomorphized and almost self-portraits or portraits of people rather than things. They go from being industrial portraits into almost abstract paintings. That really, walking that boundary is really exciting for me. Kyle Mulholland has a sculpture degree. He's originally from Kentucky, and all the work that I've seen of his in the last 2 or 3 years has to do with an emotional connection with his family back in Kentucky. This current body of work is based on a tree on his family's property, and one large branch that emerged the same year that Kyle was born. The tree fell, and Kyle created biographies over the last 35 years of his grandfather, his father, and himself, and burnished into the wood key moments in their life story. And finally, the fifth artist, Richard Haley, for the shows here at Johannson Project, he made a machine to stamp kind of nonsense syllables into the sand, and he built a paper speaker's rostrum that's only about 6 inches high out of paper and thread and earphone tips for the microphones. And he blew it up to about an 8-foot tall photograph. When someone speaks at a lectern, their personality is blown up and their power and authority is blown up, but it's really something that we create ourselves in our own minds. There's a great deal of wit and intelligence in his work that I really admire. I don't know if I was good or if I was lucky, but the show really did come together, although I didn't conceive of it as anything other than a 5-person show or 5 one-person shows, but there's a real coherence to it. So I don't know what it is, but there may be something about living in Sacramento and Davis that ties these works together. But the profound thing for me is not so much the show as how rich the Bay Area art scene is and how self-renewing it is. And that's why it's such a thrill and a pleasure to get to know Kimberly and see what she and others in the Oakland Renaissance are really doing.